The school board meeting for December to order, and I need a motion to go into executive session.
I'll make a motion that we go into an executive session in accordance with Idaho Code Section 74206.
Do I have, does she have to read the whole thing? No, we're done. Good.
Second.
Thank you.
Yes, she's supposed to, but.
I looked at you and I'm like, okay, I think she's supposed to. I took
We're
a
good.
class on this, so we're good.
Yeah, we're late,
It's
so.
printed on the agenda.
It's all good. Did you see me give you the eye like?
I'll say it if I need to. Okay.
You're fine.
All right.
All right, so we are on our way out to executive session. We will return.
I think we all voted aye.
Oh, wait, sorry.
I don't know why,
We're all
but every
messed
single
up.
time.
Yeah, I had
It's
this.
never
All right. Let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, thanks. Do we need to change the agenda before we approve it?
I don't know.
I think you can, you don't have to change it,
I
you
don't
can just
think
move
we'll
it.
just,
Okay.
just move
You
it.
can just-
Okay, so then do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
I make a motion that we approve the agenda.
Okay, do I have a second?
I second.
All right, any discussion? All in favor, Hillary?
Aye.
JD?
Aye.
Michael?
Aye.
And Kirsty?
Aye.
And I'm an aye. All right.
Well, came under
Celebrations.
celebrations, you see there's nothing there, because we're gonna celebrate you tonight.
Wow.
And thank you for your years of service. I remember I was assistant superintendent of whatever I was, assistant superintendent,
Great
when
pictures.
you were interviewing
Uh-huh.
for to be appointed for that position.
Mhm.
And we were so happy it was you. I know that.
That's right, JD.
Yeah. JD was, yeah, you're the only one that was.
Why do you guys have to bring that
And
up?
I remind him every time.
About what? I need.
That,
Yeah.
so we had an
Oh my
open
goodness.
seat, Kim's seat, and so we had people come in and interview for the spot, and Kim was hands down picked as our choice. Just from her heart, I don't know if I'm gonna make it through this.
Well, don't.
So you guys might have to help me.
Yeah.
But, you know, just your heart for kids,
Oh.
for the community, for the teachers, and all that you've done
Thank
over
you.
these years, just the advocate for everything that would make our district better. And also for your commitment to building skills for the board, with the ISBA and your work with that, your dedication to that, and the Kuna Foundation. You know, it's just been, and you didn't retire, and when you were asked to go teach again, you filled in at Napa Christian, and the kids loved you there, but Kim, your dedication has been just, I don't know, it's been such a, you're a role model to me. And for all that you've done, and you've showed us all the time that I have been here. And just when you talk, it's your passion for the kids, it's a passion for the district, it's a love for our community, you want the best for everybody.
Thank you, you
And-
can stop.
I have
You
not
made me
said
cry.
quite enough, but we're gonna miss you, but we truly
Well,
know that you deserve this time, and we just want you to know how much we love you and appreciate you and all that you do. And we do have a little,
Oh.
That's swag.
yeah, we got.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. But,
And does it have a stamp?
yes, you've got all of your essentials, Kim.
Oh my gosh,
You've got all
thank
of your
you.
essential
Oh my
things in
gosh.
there.
Thank you, I don't even, wow.
Do you guys, would you
I don't even know what to
add
say.
any-
Thank you.
thing?
We were talking about it earlier, and I
Yeah.
think for me, it was just like, you have that true heart of an educator,
Mhm.
and that has been, I think, just a benefit to all of us, to the
Yeah.
community, to us as staff, to leaders. I appreciate that a lot. I think that has been a great thing to see, and from the position of a trustee, that's encouraging, so thank you for that.
Thank you.
You've made us all better.
Well, I don't even know what to say. I'm at a loss of words, which is unusual. Good thing my kids and husband aren't here because they would be totally shocked. But thank you. I wanted to do this for the kids. They've always been my North Star, and I've
Yeah.
said that 100 times.
Appreciate it.
Oh, thank you. And I know that this board will carry on. Then they'll do what's right, and I'm excited for the future for CUNA. And I know we've got good administrators and good staff, and so it's a good time to go. And my husband says, if I don't stop now, he'll kill me. So I'm looking forward to lots of trips to national parks and doing those things, but I'll always, always have my little ear
I
here,
know
so
you will.
thank you so
And you
much.
might get a few phone calls.
Yes. Yeah.
That would be great, that would be, thank you so much, I don't even know what to say, but thank you.
Thank you, Kim.
Okay, we can take the pictures down now. Thank you so much, appreciate it. Thank you. All right, moving right along. Patron comment, nobody, okay. Well, that would be great. And then we have reports today, and Jonathan Gilliam will be reporting on the budget update, so thank you.
This is gonna get fun if somebody else is doing it too. We can figure out how to go through the slides. Okay. So good evening. It's kind of nice to present. You know, I haven't got a chance to visit with you guys and speak. So, just in case you don't know, Jonathan Gillen. So I'm in CFO here, at least interim. So anyway, I'll get started. Finance presentation. We're gonna talk a little about budget. What we're not gonna talk about is numbers. So I'm not gonna tell you how the budget's gonna go. I'm not gonna tell you how much we're gonna get. We're gonna talk a little bit about things we're hearing. We're gonna talk a little bit about federal stuff we're hearing. We're gonna talk a little about state stuff we're hearing. And then we're just gonna kind of plan and think a little bit about budget process. So again, no numbers tonight. I don't need to make any decisions. That time will come. I gave a similar presentation at ISBA. It was 2 hours. So if you guys are ready, we'll give you a little break in between. 5 jokes, they're not funny. Okay, so first off on the agenda, I just wanted to say thank you. Thank you for allowing me to come in and help you. Thank you for the opportunity to help your kids. You guys are amazing. Like, it's been really fun. Last 2 months, just getting to know the administration, getting to see the staff, seeing how you work. You have great people here, so just know that. Great people that do great work for kids. And so it's fun to get to interact with that and get an opportunity to be a part of that. So thank you for allowing me to do that. So again, we're gonna talk a little about budget. So we're gonna talk about federal money, we're gonna talk about state money. I talk fast, so my apologies. I'll try to go slow. I drink a lot of caffeine. There's a triple shot of coffee I already drank, and that's the third one of the day. So there we go. So first off, I'm gonna share a little bit about federal funding. So, oh, you can't see the, okay, well, there we go. Anyway, I can just point to it, right? Essentially, federal funding, nothing actually passed. So what you're gonna see here, here's what I can tell you. This is what was proposed during federal funding around in September of last year. So all this information came from ASBO, the Association of School Business Officials. You'll see some information from on the state budget, specifically around Idaho. And so really what I wanna highlight here, it's not going to look like this. So that's what I'll tell you right off the bat. You can look at this and we can analyze this and we can say, this is not necessarily what it's gonna look like. But it does give us some ideas of potentially what the administration was looking at and what could be potential impacts as we think about our budget for next year. And so in particular, what I wanna highlight, they had proposed essentially a 15% cut in IDEA programs. We'll talk a little bit about that. More, we'll talk about IDEA funding. I got a slide in a little bit that'll kind of walk through that. And then you might hear things like a block grant as a way to disperse IDEA funding, so a different calculation. So again, what we want to take from this is not, oh my goodness, federal programs are getting cut, because we don't actually know. If you know, that'd be great. You can tell me. I don't know. And so what I'm relying on is at least the information of this is a picture we had. And so as we work our way into the budget process, just kind of know, oh, there's the potential, at least in the past, they were talking about federal revenues changing and disbursements to states changing and disbursements to schools changing. And so we'll keep that in mind as we work through the federal process. Another post right here, this was essentially federal programs that they were looking at potential of eliminating. They didn't. So you got funding for these this year. Your appropriations came, money got dispersed, the state of Idaho received it. We have these programs now and we fund these. But I think it gives us a little picture of there's potential of there could be some programs that we potentially offer that they were at least discussing not funding in the future. So what does that mean? We're not gonna panic. We're not gonna stress about that. We're not gonna say the program's getting cut. What we are gonna do is think like, oh, if we have a program on that list, what would it look like if we needed to look for other sources of revenue? If they did a 15% reduction to community schools, is now a time for us to start maybe finding some partnerships. so you could cover that gap, right? So now's the time for us to do some research. Now's the time for us to do some planning. In case any of these changes did come to fruition, we've done our work now, we've done our homework now, we've planned ahead. So again, not looking for this necessarily to happen, but it gives us a little tenor, a little idea of as we roll into the budget process, there could be the potential of things happening, and so we need to be listening and kind of be prepared and aware. So I'm going to talk a little about special education. So specifically, so this was like, I did a huge game at ISBA. I'll save you from the game, because it was like 30 minutes. We had dollar bills. We threw fake money around the tables. Everybody dropped on the floor. If they didn't know the answers, it created quite a mess. I'm sure you guys wouldn't like it there, so we're not going to do it here. But I'll add just a couple of questions, because these were all guesses people had to get, and they cheated if they got it right. So in general, IDEA program is funded, so you receive funding from the federal government for special education. Does anybody know how much they at least promised to or proposed they would be providing?
Oh, how much they proposed, how much, we get about 30%. They were supposed to be doing more than that.
They were supposed to be doing 40.
40,
So the
yeah.
initial goal was that 40%
How
of
much
your
should they
expenses.
do? I think 100. But who am I? I'm just
Yeah.
on my way out here.
So the federal government, the idea was that when they funded special education, that they would fund at least around 40% of a school district's or a charter school's cost. Average is around 18 to 20, just so you know. And then state of Idaho funds special education. You receive roughly 5.5 or 6% of your ADA. It's essentially identified, and you receive special education funding for that. Does anybody know what CUNA's special education rate is? 15.9. So why do I say these things, right? Really, because you're going to hear a lot of discussion during the session about special education funding. We're already starting to hear it, right? Superintendent already proposed $50 million to help offset special education costs, right? Because they're rising for school districts and charters. It's becoming a cost that's now starting to burden the general fund. And so, as you guys start to hear that, you'll be able to know, like, oh, federal government maybe pays for a portion, there's a portion that we don't receive, state of Idaho pays for a portion, but in the end, there's a general fund impact. And so just kind of keep that in mind. Again, these are precursor to conversations you're probably going to hear throughout the session, as lots of school districts and charters deal with the funding associated with special education.
Can you tell me what the 15.9% again is? I didn't.
That's the special education percentage for CUNA school districts
How
specifically.
many students
How many
we
students?
serve that
Mhm.
are, okay, so 15.9% are part of a special education
Yeah,
program.
correct.
Okay, thank you.
And again, state funds roughly 5.5 or 6 currently. Depends on the grade level, why I say 5.5 or 6. Okay, so state revenue projections. So this is an article, I just took a snip straight out of Idaho News. So I'm sure if many of you saw that article, you saw anywhere between 600 million and 1 billion for state budget deficit. This just outlines the stuff that's in the article. I just pulled the numbers out, right? So there's a 3% reduction. I think everybody kind of knew about that. All state agencies other than K-12 had a reduction. Even with that, there's roughly a $58.3 million projected budget deficit for this year so far. So again, those numbers, they'll change because we're going to continue to get revenue projections. And so, but again, then as we look into next year, could be a $555 million revenue projection deficit. And that's if all things were funded. There's some discussions about federal tax changes. This number's actually been updated. So 2 weeks ago, it was $200 to $284 million. Now the number's roughly $167 million. So just to give you some context, right? Numbers continue to change. Revenue projections change. Cost of things continue to change. And then there's always a state goal of having a positive fund balance of $200 million. So why do I share all this? It's not just go, oh my goodness, is there a cut that's coming, right? We don't know. We don't know what's going to happen at the state level. Legislative session hasn't started yet. But it does give us a little bit of understanding of the tenor of what costs are looking at downtown, what their revenue projections are looking at, what they're going to be discussing during the session, right? Is that revenue projections are not necessarily being budget. And so I always tell people, as you plan for budgets, we should look to kind of mirror that process. And so if they're having discussions about being conservative, we should probably have some discussions about being conservative as well. What does it also mean? We're going to monitor what's going on downtown. We're going to continue to keep an eye on the things that are going on. We're going to watch for bills that are coming through. We'll listen to the revenue projections, kind of just start building our own planning as they work through the session so that we can also work through the session as well. This is super simple, right? Potentials for state reductions. If anyone were to occur, they're going to usually go after state funding, salary-based apportionment, discretionary state funding. So a lot of those are areas where in the past when they've had to make reductions. Sometimes they look at specific line items, state tech funding, college and career funds. So tips for uncertain times. So what should we be doing? Here's what I tell people right off the bat. Be mindful, but don't panic, right? Because that's what you want to start with. You're like, oh my goodness, revenue projections, what do I need to do? And you start panicking, right? You try to take it all in and you try to solve the problem today. We don't want to panic, we just want to be mindful. So we want to start listening. We want to start thinking. Part of the budget process, I'm going to tell you, everybody says the budget is all about numbers, and it is. There's a lot of financial numbers we'll discuss during the budget process. There's also some of just taking in the impact and thinking through decisions. And so you need some time just to process. And so that's what we're going to do. We're also going to take some time just to process as we hear numbers, as we start to say, okay, what could be that impacts on the school district? What are things that we want to be planning for? Start to have conversations. So again, we'll start monitoring what's going on at the state level, and we'll do that, right? Much like we would anyway, right? We're always going to monitor in this session, but we'll keep an eye on what are we hearing and what could be the potential budget impacts of that, and then how does it specifically impact our district? And so, okay, is that a funding stream that impacts us? Do we receive an additional dollar amount? Is that something we can be planning for? What does it look like? Again, just so we can kind of manage. Grow accustomed to uncertainty and be patient within it. And so you're not going to know a lot of things for quite a while, right? A session takes a little bit, we'll start working up, then they'll start doing revenue projections, then they'll start looking at what state funding is gonna look like. And so really, it's okay to be like, I don't know that answer yet. It's okay for us to sit in not knowing what that answer is yet, but knowing that we're still using this time. So not sitting in there uncertainty, but also sitting in, oh, this is a great time for me to learn a little about the budget. I might not know what it's gonna look like, but I might know that now's a good time for me to ask questions, so that when I know what it's gonna look like, I can start to build a plan accordingly. Then what I'll tell you is be patient but decisive. So we're gonna wait until we get information, and then eventually, we're gonna know what we need to do, we're gonna know what decisions we're gonna make, and then we'll have to move forward with those. And so again, just kind of planning, getting used to that process, knowing there's gonna be a time where we're gonna be doing some work, and we're gonna be doing some background, we're gonna be doing some planning, but we're not really gonna know what the answers are. Start learning about the budget now. I love to talk about the budget. So if you guys ever want to talk about the budget, or you want to walk through the budget, I would love to talk to you. Don't ask me tonight, I'm still only 30 days in, so give me another 3 days and I'll be even better. But just know, I love having those conversations. I used to have a board chair, we would sit down before every board meeting and we would just talk. And we would say like, okay, how do we get funding for this? And we would just walk through the different funding streams. We would talk through those things, just of how they impact our budget. Or she would say, hey, here's something downtown. Do we get that funding? What does that look like for our school district? What does that mean for our kids, right? And we would sit down and we'd talk about those. And that helped build a rapport. That helped us build a common vocabulary. That helped us understand kind of the different funding streams. So that when we got to the budget, we could be like, oh, I know that you understand that. I know we both know what we're talking about. And so now we can figure out what's best for kids. And then for federal and other state funding streams, I always just say be mindful of the general fund impact. So not everything always pays for itself. So you have spillover. We all kind of know that. Some of our programs have some general fund impact. And so we'll just be watching that, right? As funding changes, goes up, goes down, what does that mean for our general fund? So what are we going to be doing when we come back from the holiday? It's the same stuff we do all the time. I'll just tell you. We're going to review expenses, right? So we'll be taking a look at projections. We'll be taking a look at how we spend our dollars. We're going to be looking at what we can and can't do, maybe where we want to save some money, just like we do every year, right? What are things that we may hold off on as we evaluate? What are things that we're going to move forward with? And then we're going to monitor revenues. We're going to take a look at how revenues are looking this year. We're going to take a look at how the state legislature looks, and we'll kind of see what the projections and the impacts will be. It's just a nice brief intro into the budget. Nothing
Thank
too
you for
detailed.
educating us, but I do have a question.
Sure.
So about how much of our budget is in special ed right now that we pay?
So you probably will receive, I can get that.
I mean, if you
before.
can't, that's
I
fine,
can
I'm
pull the
just
expenditure
curious to
side.
know,
Yeah.
so that I can see kind of what we're doing now, because, and where we may have to go.
I can look that up. I can
Okay.
probably, if you give me a chunk of time.
I will give you whatever you need, I just,
Sweet.
yeah. Does anybody else have any?
That's a good question, I'd like to hear too.
Yeah, yeah.
Perfect, I can put together a little review of expenditures and then take a look at them.
Yeah, I just kind of want a ballpark figure so we kind of know where we're at, because that's been one of my pet peeves, that the federal government they demand that we provide, but they only give us 30%.
Yeah.
And it's been like, well, it's not fair. So, but anyway, I just wondered how much we pay, so thank you.
Perfect. can-
I guess I thought of another question, similar to Kim's, but if, with some of the talks of budget reductions, have there also been talks about less requirements and?
Amen.
That would be another one of my pet peeves.
I mean, I hear hints of that sometimes, so that's what I'm wondering, is that something you're also, I mean, we'll also of course be paying attention to that, but
Yeah.
is the budget cut connected with that?
I'll say yes and no. So it really depends. So there is a lot of committees that are discussing how you can remove red tape, what is duplicative reporting. So that conversation, I think, has started even before this and continues to be part of this. There was discussion, when I talked briefly about block grants, that there might be some changes in reporting requirements associated with that, but like nothing really formal yet, largely because the funding stream wasn't decided, right? So, and that'll drive what'll be the reporting requirements. So I think we'll get some more clarity from that from the federal, and then at the state level, I'm always usually monitoring just kind of what are changes in reporting requirements and what we need to be aware of.
So I'm also hearing that's a good thing to listen to our legislature and what they're doing with these monies.
Mhm.
And maybe even have some people testify for
Yeah.
things that we need.
Yeah, I think it's a great opportunity,
Yeah.
right? We're lucky that we're super close to the Capitol.
We are.
Right? And so it's great. We enjoy going down there, get an opportunity to visit, get an opportunity to listen.
Yeah.
JFAC hearings are actually, if you, I don't know if you've ever listened to Joint Finance and Appropriations, they're streamed live. They're actually kind of fun to watch.
I tell you, it's not my favorite, I'll be honest.
But maybe it's because I like budget.
Yeah.
But I do listen and sit down, because it just gives you kind of a picture of like, what
Yeah.
are the challenges statewide? They'll put out revenue projections, which I think are always interesting to listen to, even if you're not like, I'm a little geeky, so I like finance stuff. But I like to listen to the revenue projections. How are we doing on state taxes? What are things looking like? Because you can see some pictures within the numbers. Like there was some information that came out just today that said like, hey, tax collections while they're behind, they don't think it's recessionary trends, right? Okay, so that's good to know. So you can kind of see some pictures within the numbers as well. It just gives you extra context.
Well, thank you, Jonathan, I appreciate that.
Thank
Any other
you.
questions? I'm gonna put a bug in everybody's ear about ISBA Day on the Hill might be a good thing to attend this year with the budget cuts and what's going on
Really, I think we
statewide.
need to go talk and ask that question.
Yeah, I think that,
Do you think
that'd
I
be great.
won't?
I think you should, very
I think I
much so,
would.
yeah.
No, I.
Day on the Hill, I think, would be very profitable to go and hear what's going on.
It's a fun couple of days. And you get to network. And
Yeah,
meet a lot
it
of
is, and I think that it really would be to our advantage to do that, and see what's going on there.
When is
So, thank
it, do you know?
We
haven't announced
First
We
week
haven't
in
announced
February.
it. Usually it's in
First or second week of February.
February, it's usually in February. So, all right, thank you.
Well, thank you, and I'll get you that information.
Yeah, appreciate that. All right, I've been waiting to hear this one. Mr. Robbie Reno, Safe Schools, our cell phone policy
I was
update.
excited to see this on the agenda.
I'm excited to be here. So, Madam Chair, Nixon, trustees, yeah, Kim just asked me to report to you just the update on the cell phone policy, how it's going at the school. It's going great. Feedback anecdotally is just, it's awesome. Teachers love it. Teachers are enforcing it. We have 2 kids that are on an individual plan. When you think about that, we're almost halfway through the school year. And out of 1,840 kids-ish, depending on what.
Just 2?
Yeah, just 2 so far. So, every day we have, first time offenders or second time offenders, but there is some, we average probably about 6 or 8, 6 or 7, at time to. A day.
6, 7?
No, it's been really good, and like teachers said, some feel like they're moving faster through the curriculum, they feel like, a lot more engagement, a lot more participation in class, and then also too at lunchtime, we don't have as many kids buried in their phones, they're actually hanging out and conversing with each other, so it's going very positive.
I'm anxious to see the test scores, because one of the things that got me really wanting to do this was listening to a teacher from Boise
Yeah.
say that her test scores just in her class went up considerably after they had done this, so I'm anxious to see how that goes, so. What?
I just wondered, maybe like, behavior, impact on behavior and like bullying
See,
and
and
issues
that's-
that way. Have you seen anything?
That's hard because we did 2 major policy changes. We did the attendance, or tardy and cell phones. And so where kids are not in class, and then we have another dean that can kind of be ahead of things instead of reactionary, we can be preventative a little more and follow the plan. So as far as comparing how behavior was this year's a whole set of circumstances from last year. But we can calculate the data on the behavior to see, we haven't ran the numbers yet because we usually do that on semester at the end of the year to see behavior comparisons.
Has it taken away from class time for teachers to confiscate phones?
Teachers don't compensate them.
They're just sending one
They
down.
call, security comes
That's
up.
what,
and
that's
gets
what I
them.
was hoping
Yep,
was
yep.
gonna happen, so that's what's happening.
Yep, that's what's happening.
Great.
The radio traffic is much more busier. 'Cause
That's what I was
it's,
wondering.
Coming to phone, yeah.
And does that have, did you say, is that the 6 or 7, like?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like per class
Per day, no,
period?
per day.
Oh, per day,
Per day, like
okay.
some days, like, I think today we had one.
One phone conversation?
One phone conversation, or like, some days, I mean, there's been a couple days where we've had none. Like I said, I don't have the complete,
Yeah.
Miss Begley, I want the full, you get full data, but it's just, yeah, it hasn't been a burden.
And do you feel like, like the teachers are enforcing it and they're buying it?
Absolutely.
They've got the full buy-in, like there's not some, I
Absolutely.
mean, I'm sure it's at differing levels, but. in
So
the
one thing
classroom,
that we
they
help
don't-
mitigate that is there's times, right, we try to, they say, oh, we need to use our phone to take pictures. Well, we have a Chromebook, or hey, with some of the money we got, we bought digital cameras. We bought, there's a form teachers have to fill out, because there is opportunities, like when students have to register for the dual credit classes, or for like, Apply Idaho, or for grants, they have to use their personal email, and sometimes they'll have it blocked, or the email's blocked on the, so they gotta use their phone to get the two-step verification or that, so there's a process to allow for that, but it's not, but teachers are following that process, but it's not, they're not overusing it, or it's become a process for that.
I have another question too, parental involvement or support, how's that been?
Yeah, I mean, there's always a few that don't agree with it, but for the most part, I would say overwhelming. Like, I was at bus duty last week, and one of the deans was joking that mom called and said, hey, you took your phone, your kid's on step 3, you need to come pick it up. And she says, well, I can't today, I'll pick it up next week. So, a lot of them are very supportive of that.
Okay.
Yes.
Hey, can I say something about their tardy policy though, too? I know it's cell phones, but today there was 2 boys, I was coming back from Hubbard, and they were parked in kind of our part, there's numbers on the other side. They're 2 big pickups, and they were parked there, and they got out, and they were so nice. But we were having the conversation about, can you guys just park down a ways? And they're like, could we have this conversation? And we're happy to have it with you, but we can't tardy.
We're out of here.
Well, that's good
They were
news.
so nice. I never met them, but they were so nice. They go, we will happily do this, but we can't be tardy.
Oh, that's funny. So, any other questions for Robbie? Thank you, Mr.
Thank you.
Reno. Appreciate that. All right. Next one is follow-up on ISBA convention, so I'm gonna let you talk first, Kevin.
Well, I was gonna let you talk
Oh, well,
first.
no, I insist.
This is your. All right.
I'll talk after you. Whatever you don't cover,
You
I'll
get the
cover.
rebuttal?
Yeah. I'll get the rebuttal.
Whatever you don't cover.
Whatever you don't cover, I'll cover.
Well, Trustee Nixon and I got to present at the ISB convention too. We didn't take 2 hours though, we were much more efficient.
Yeah.
But our topic was on effective use of data for student achievement and specifically focusing on board members and questions to ask and things to understand about testing. So we worked together. It was a great tandem because I was able to present from the standpoint of this, when I'm preparing data presentations, these are the kinds of things I think about and try to anticipate. And Trustee Nixon was able to say, these are the questions I ask and the things that I want to make sure I understand. And so I thought it was a really great tag team back and forth.
I thought it was too, and a lot of good vocabulary for teachers. They really like, or not
Yes.
teachers, I'm sorry, for the board members. that
Yes,
were
we did
there
an
in
overview of
attendance.
all the different types of assessment, and specifically the Idaho assessments that they would see data on, and what to expect, what kind of data to expect in a meeting, and things that data doesn't tell. I mean, it was pretty thorough for that hour, and then the week after, I followed up with a 20-minute webinar for ISBA on the top 10 questions to ask. So it was based off of our presentation.
I thought we had really good feedback from people. So, and then the other thing is, Deanne presented on Robert's Rules, and she did a great job. We were there to help. I don't know how much help we gave, but we were there to. It was fun, and she did a great job, and she didn't say anything that I had done bad, so thank you very much, I appreciate that. So it was really good, and another really good feedback from that. And so then I went on, and of course I love swag, so I brought you all back some swag, and that would be those little pins that say we support public education, they're blue.
Thank you.
So I thought that was a nice little swag thing. and if you want pins, I've got those too, plenty of those, but anyway. And then I attended one on IDLA, and I thought it was a great presentation. We met with IDLA and they went over some summer programs that they're using, and that's the group we're gonna be using to help us free.
That Launchpad.
Launchpad program, and then to see what the other communities are doing, really gave Kevin some great ideas on how to use that, like
Yeah.
at Boys and Girls Club, even the library, after school, and how they can just take that and help us. And I'd like to see more of a GT aspect to that. And so we talked about that there, and so that was a really good one. So I appreciated that. And then I went to Legal Hot Topics. Oh, those are legal hot topics. A lot of that going on, but the one thing was they talked about all the different kind of elections, like your bonds, your levies, even your election as board members, what you can do, what you can't do, what you can ask of the administrators, what you can't ask, any new laws that were coming up. And then they did talk about some of the issues going around the state. I hope we don't have those here, but some issues with teaching human sexuality and how they're not doing what the state has asked them to do, and to make sure we know what we're doing. So that was really a good one too.
We're definitely following that one.
Yes, we are, just gonna bring that in.
Yes.
And then I also went to hiring your next superintendent by SBA. That was a good class to see. We're not the only ones hiring, by the way, people. So there's a lot of even smaller districts that are hiring, and Caldwell's another one, and just to hear what they're doing and how they're doing it. And there is no right way, can I just say that? You have to do what's right for your district and what you feel. And then also I ended up with superintendent evaluations, a class on that. And I really enjoyed that because what we did to change ours is really in line with what ISBA promotes. And one of the things I got out of that class that I think is important is that you can't hold your superintendent to something he or she has no control over. And sometimes as boards, we want to do that. So we really have to take a look at what we're asking the superintendent to do, whether that's something they have control over or not. So I thought that was kind of a good little thing. So that was the ones I went to, enjoyed it once again. Loved my swag. Deanne won $50, did it again. I don't know how she did that. So it was a lot of fun. So I really promote people continuing. They're really great classes, and I think they make us
Next year it's
better
here in
workers.
Boise.
It is.
So whoever wants to present next year, I'll present with you if you'd like.
Not it.
I could come back for a fee.
And you don't do it for free anymore.
Yeah, no more freebie on that. All right. Any questions about that? All right, we'll move on.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Do you want to write a report for everything you learned?
No, I
Book
don't.
report, are you kind of in the book report?
No, thank you. Only if AI helps me nowadays. So, Deanne, you're next with action item.
So, you will see the election results from the November election, and per Idaho code, we just need to have you review and approve said results.
I make a motion that we approve these results.
Do I have a second?
I second.
Any other discussion or questions? All right, Kirsty?
Aye.
Michael?
Aye.
JD?
Aye.
And Hillary?
Aye.
And then I'm an aye also. All right, I think we're going to move the MOU and storm relationships
Not
with
here yet.
Tim Johnson. When he gets here, we will put him in. So that leads us to the HVAC, Phase 2 Ross and Indian Creek, and Assistant Superintendent Brian Graves.
I apologize, this did come in today. The push by our construction management was that there's a big perk on, they said, purchasing prior to the new year, and they really wanted us to get this in this time rather than January. We lost that week because of Thanksgiving break, where they couldn't do what they wanted to do. Again, Brett wasn't able to be here. It's a lot of similar things about our first phase with Kuna High, our second phase with Kuna High is this, remember we combined the Indian Creek Ross into one project. They said it's gonna be much easier to deal with one project instead of different electricians at two different spots. Trustee Lowe asked about the contingency. The first thing he said is they hate change orders worse than we do as a business management company. He said they don't, Bennington, because they oversee it, and they said their job is to make it so there's never have to be a change order. So I sent that answer to you, all you guys, but I put that on there. If you click on the next slide, it's broken up into the 6 different companies that will come in and do the parts and pieces. Remember, this is Ross, so there is that asbestos piece. With that, if you've ever been in the little boiler room, I think we're donating to a museum. It's a fun boiler. It's a cool boiler. A lot of what you see with the drywall and carpentry, they're gonna actually come and there's old heaters in the classrooms that we haven't used, so they're gonna come out and remove those from classrooms as well and come back and do repair. So these are the companies that they went with. And for Robbie, if you went to the other page, they said this is, high school, they had one time, they had 7 bids. But if you look at this bid, we had 6 different, if you click on one more. We had 6 different vendors bid on mechanical and 7 for roofing. So and they said that was, you just don't see that many vendors, you have 6 or 7.
You said it.
Boy, you're good at that.
You can get the over.
You guys
You
need
need to
work
go
with
7,
students.
6, yeah, 7, 6, 6, 7.
It was 7. So I put it all together for you, and then the total of Indian Creek Ross Phase 2 is,
And the schedule for completion is the summer?
oh yeah, yeah, and they'll actually be able to, I think what they'll do is they'll focus on one school and the other, and they'll easily get them both done. They're not worried about this, like they may be worried about the other school. That's why we're shutting the other school down. No one can be in the other school.
What other school?
Kuna High, that
Oh.
Phase 2 project.
Oh, right,
Because they have to
okay, I'm
finish
like,
that.
I did not hear about
They're gonna have
this.
to,
Yeah.
no, that's gonna be a busy, hopefully they work 24 hours a day.
But we've already approved that. That was good to go.
Yeah.
More than 6 or 7 hours.
And I apologize to whoever's doing it's a long motion.
Yeah, it is a long motion. So do I have a motion that we accept the bids for
I make a
Phase 2?
motion. I'll make a motion that we approve the bid for the I have to read all that. The
Yep.
asbestos demolition bill for environmental for $23,842. And for the steel, mountain steel, $32,316. Rough carpentry and drywall, Northwest Interiors LLC for $133,000. Roofing and metal wall panels, E&H Roofing for $109,300. Mechanical Service Experts Heating and Air Conditioning for $599,300. And electrical units, or electrical, United Electrical Contracting Incorporated for $138,160. Total Phase 2 project of $1,035,918.
Second.
Okay. Do I have any discussion or questions?
I just for reference, this money is coming from,
Yeah, it's on the other side, this is House Bill 5.
yeah, okay, thank you.
No, yeah, it's down there.
Oh, yeah, sorry, thank you.
I just want you to know when I started teaching, we had no air conditioning. Can I just say that now? That would have saved us some money. Anyway,
I
all
only
in
hear when we
favor?
don't have air conditioning now, no one ever thanks me for their air conditioning.
I know. All in favor?
Aye.
Kirsty, Michael?
Aye.
JD?
Aye.
Hillary?
Aye.
And I'm an aye also.
Can we make sure that those slides are attached to this too?
Mm-hmm.
Like the individual bids is what we would like to see, and I got those sent to me individually by request, but if in the future we could just attach them, it'd be helpful.
Yeah.
They're in there now,
Okay.
because we just got them this afternoon.
Yeah.
So
They
they're,
sent it
there
out
is over
about
there.
4:30. I think you sent it.
They're, like, we should be able to
Yeah.
click on them?
Like,
Not on
Through
this.
There's
Not,
Through your
not in
email.
the
Board
agenda,
package.
it's
Just
not
in the Google
attached to
Drive.
the agenda,
It's
so
in
if you
the-
go into the,
Well, that's what I just
Board
did, but they
folder.
still don't come up.
Can you,
It's fine, it's fine. But I'm just saying, I just went in there just now.
It's not the board folder.
I don't think.
Let me look real quick. I'll
isn't
check
that what
this.
we
I
downloaded?
think that's where we put it. I remember how we put it in there. So
Yeah, I can show you where it's at, JD.
All right, well, while we're looking at that, Cam Elwood, are you ready to
Yeah.
present for Safe Schools? Approval email security protection?
Sure, man. Trustees, thank you for your time tonight. Quick,
That's how I got it.
small lesson on cybersecurity in school districts. School districts are widely considered a soft target for people because we do not have the resources, manpower, money that even federal governments and private industry obviously has. We do what we can, we do our best, but cybersecurity stuff is pretty expensive. One thing that has been making its rounds, and a bigger thing this year for us, and I've seen an upward trend over the last few years, is phishing attacks on our staff mostly. Phishing attacks, one of the most popular things out there, so what we started looking at, and with discussions from other tech directors in the area, I started hearing about Abnormal, and a couple other ones have been able to bring prices down to be more affordable for school districts. So we reached out to one of our partners, OTC, to give us a couple demos of a couple options, and I've been running Abnormal in a read-only state for the last month and a half. Just to see what we're dealing with, and it's been a big help so far, even just in a read-only state. Currently, if we get a phishing attack, my tech team has to manually remove those from inboxes whenever we are alerted to them. And then manually dig through logs to see who all got affected, and it's a lot of work. Google does have email security, but it just isn't enough. It's pretty basic. Next slide for me. What we're looking for with Abnormal and some other things is it's an automated solution that is monitoring 24 hours a day, which is something we can't currently do. So like I said, we've been running it for about a month, and it has already located about 4,000 phishing attacks that we have looked into and pulled out. What it will do is, instead of just saying, hey, this is there, it'll just pull it out of inboxes before it even gets to people to have a chance to click on it, which is huge. It'll also monitor for suspicious activity. That's basically, say, Jason Reddy's account suddenly logged in Germany and then logged in Italy when he was just logged in Idaho about an hour ago. It's like, that's not really possible. We're gonna disable his account right now. Send us an alert to verify some things. Yeah, and it's 24 hours a day monitoring. I have it budgeted for in my software budget by cutting some things that we don't really need to use anymore, as well as putting some price locks for multiple years, things that we are going to use forever. So I've got this built into our budget. So I'm hoping that we can approve this thing.
I just have a question. Was there some kind of thing that happened with student accounts this last week?
Yes,
And
there was. And this was prompted before that, and because of that action, I've also started looking into adding this to cover our student counts. I just don't have those numbers right off the bat, but it is an add-on I can do later.
So this is not for student accounts?
This is just staff. When we started looking at this process, staff are the ones that are normally hit. We have full access to the outside world. There are some students have access to the outside world at high school. Middle schoolers and elementaries don't generally get emails from the outside. But
Okay.
we're always looking to improve it, so I am definitely looking into getting student protection as well.
And what was that happened?
And I don't even talk about that in.
Yeah, I think it's a typical phishing attack,
Yeah.
so, a student's account got compromised, and, when that happens, the bad actor comes in and will send emails on behalf of that student from their actual account with links that would, infect other users.
So, in this
So-
situation.
Cam found it on Saturday
Jackson
afternoon.
found it
while-
on Saturday afternoon and
Yeah,
emailed
thanks,
me
Jackson.
and said, hey, we have this issue, and I was out Christmas shopping, so I was able to log in from my phone, pull those emails away. We weren't sure it was phishing at that time. We thought, hey, it could be a student just having a prank. So I pulled those out of emails and then shut down the student's account, plus those who had clicked on the link just and changed their passwords out of security. And then when Monday came around, we did a more thorough investigation. And in this case, yes, a bad actor had access to this student's account, to send out an email. That was all they had done. I did a whole thorough look through a bunch of logs last night to verify that. So it all is all taken care of now.
Great.
Thanks for staying up on that.
We tried.
Keeping our kids safe.
Yeah, but you are working on a student piece of this too.
Correct,
It's
yep.
in- So maybe January.
Yeah, hopefully in January when because I just started asking about it yesterday, so.
So Cam, this is coming out of your budget, you're redoing some things, so that it'll be coming out.
Already have.
Okay.
This I've already had put aside. This is something that I consistently want to get better at, is our cybersecurity, because it's something that's very important and underfunded from a state and federal level. So I've been making changes to be able to put a little bit aside to be able to purchase things like this.
Okay. Do I have a motion to approve of this purchase?
I make a motion that we approve the purchase of abnormal units for $22,715.
Do I have a second?
I second.
Any other discussion or questions?
Sorry, I have one question.
Sure.
How long will this last?
It's a yearly contract,
So this would be an annual renewal?
and I have that planned for that, yes.
All right. So any other? Okay, Hillary?
Aye.
JD?
Aye.
Michael?
Aye.
And Kirsty?
Aye.
And I'm an aye also.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
And Brian is back up.
Yeah.
How's the shoulder?
This is day one of week 6, so it's going along fast, right?
Yeah, every day's better.
See, now he gets to be last. I love it.
Yeah.
This is our very last old policy review. Now we're just doing the quarterly. We will not have first reads unless something comes up from administrator or trustee. We haven't got our fourth quarter one yet. So these were the last of the old cleanup. So I think there is 2, 4, 6 amends, and 4 removes, and 3 adopts. I stand for any questions.
I didn't have any questions on this first set. Anybody want to make a motion to amend the following policies?
I had a question.
Okay?
The word manifestation was used throughout the policy, and I just wanted to understand, was that the best word to use, or was there another word to use?
Which policy is that?
Probably disciplining.
546, disciplining students. I just didn't know if that was the best professional word, or if there was a different word to use. 'Cause
So you have to you determine if it's like a manifestation determination. That's exactly what we
What
have.
does that
That's
mean?
Federal law.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have a question about the same policy. Under suspension number 1 in green, is it supposed to say, on the last occasion was substantially similar to the previous occasion was substantially similar to the previous occasions?
Twice.
Like, is it supposed, I mean, I
No,
could
it's
see
like
where it
it's
could
repeating
possibly be, but
I missed that.
Oh.
That looks like it's double typed.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Good job,
Very
Hillary.
nice.
and I guess these updates are just updates to log because of the logs.
Correct. Yeah, and these are updates that we should have done. The people that had our positions before us should have done before, and we just weren't kept up. And lots of things happened, mostly COVID happened, I think, ruined a lot of updates, and we've officially caught up.
Because it feels like this is kind of like what we've been doing anyway, right? Like, I didn't really
Yeah.
see a lot of
Yeah,
difference to
we
it.
follow law,
Okay.
yeah, absolutely.
Alright.
Law over
No,
policy.
this goes along with those special services
Yeah.
that we have to do that are federal.
That's fairly limiting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
You
with
have no
policy
choice.
971 is the animals in school, is it clearly understood that teachers cannot bring pets to school on a daily basis?
Yeah, and this just will clarify, now as an administrator, now what they can do is, because this is pets, this is your lizard in the biology class, this is a rabbit in kindergarten.
This is a
class. So
pet
This gives them a policy that they.
Classroom pet.
Okay,
Yeah.
so like.
This
we're
is not service animals, this is
Yeah.
not.
Okay, so I'm just making sure there's clarification that teachers can't just bring their dog to school every day.
The only way they could is if
Okay.
they went through and worked with the administrator and followed this
As a
policy.
Yeah,
service
I think it
purpose.
says that up there, that it's up to the principal, and it depends on the kids and allergies and that kind of
Classroom
stuff.
setting and stuff.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, yeah.
I mean, I saw that, but I just wanted it to be clearly understood that that would be a special circumstance,
Yeah.
not like a daily occurrence.
No, most teachers, yeah.
Yeah.
I do have to tell you though, I do have a dog named Tucker that the kids could earn having him come for a day, and they love that.
Yeah, that's
So,
different.
as long as everything worked out well.
Okay.
Okay.
I make a motion that we approve the first reading of policy 460, 546 with the correction of the term that we talked about, and then the policy 672, 673, 677, and 851.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Any other questions or discussion? All right, Kirsty?
Aye.
Michael?
Aye.
JD?
Aye.
Hillary?
Aye.
And I'm an aye also. Okay. And then we need a motion on removing the following. Do I have a motion to remove the following policies?
I make-
Go ahead.
I make a motion that we remove the following policies: 616, 632.5, 560, and 932.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any other discussion or questions?
No.
All right, Kirsty?
Aye.
Michael?
Aye.
JD?
Aye.
Hillary?
Aye.
And I'm an aye also. And then I need a motion to adopt the following policies. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion that we adopt the following policies: 521, 638, and 971.
All right. And any other discussion or questions? All right, Kirsty?
Aye.
Michael?
Aye.
JD?
Aye.
Hillary?
Aye.
And I'm an aye also. And the last one, second reading for policy 512. Do I have an action, or do I have a motion?
I make a motion that we adopt the following policy: 512.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
Any other discussion or questions? Okay, Kirsty?
Aye.
Michael?
Aye.
JD?
Aye.
Hillary?
Aye.
And I'm an aye. All right, we are going to be hearing from Tim Jensen. Consider approval of the MOUs that he's been working on. Thank you for doing this in your time.
Yeah, thank you for your patience. I was legally speeding you to get here.
Well, we legally, I was gonna say, we legally would not have paid for your tickets.
At least it wasn't very far.
Enough to get here quicker, but not enough to get a ticket. So,
Nice job, nice job.
Madam Chair and trustees, I appreciate the time, and before I get going into the projects, I kind of want to explain to you why or the process and why I'm here tonight. All these are developments that have been, some of them are a little older than others, whatever, but in this process, the MOU process, where we're at in this stage right now is we've worked with these developers, and these are agreements of the developers and us, we've talked with them about. But when we submit the MOU, we submit them a draft MOU because obviously they're gonna wanna put it in front of their attorneys and legal teams and stuff like that. But what I'm needing from you is just that permission to continue, just say for instance with Sonora and Sky, they come back and say that MOU is good on their side, for me to be able to go ahead and sign off on that on behalf of you guys for that. So that, and none of these have reached that final stage yet. But usually developers, once we get to that agreement, they're kind of in a hurry to get through that process, because as they get the approval process, they obviously want to get shovels in the ground as soon as possible. And so that's why I'm here tonight, is to tell you about that and just get that approval to continue working that as they come back to us with their things. And what I anticipate in those MOUs, obviously, because we've already talked about these details, I don't anticipate any of them coming back with, well, we decided we don't want to do this, we want to do this now. If that's the case, if there's a major change in there, then that would come back in front of you guys again. I would have to tell them that, hey, you've decided, instead of giving this amount, we want to give this amount, I have to take that back to my board now as well. And so that wouldn't be, this permission, I guess what this permission isn't, is to take anything less than what's up here that's already been presented. That would come back in front of you if that were the case. The MOU has a lot of wording in it, and one of them, for an example, says if they accept this MOU and they decide that they don't want to continue developing this project, and someone else takes it over, they have a responsibility to tell the next developer that they're now responsible for this, you know, let's say buying a school bus and so that's one of the, I anticipate that's one of the things that they might come back and say, like, I don't wanna be the guy that tells the next guy they have to buy a school bus for the district. And so those are the type of terms that, you know, that we can work out. But if anything changes in what I'm gonna present to you here tonight, that would have to come back in front of you guys for approval. And so I'll go through them, and then I'll give you, you know, answer questions, obviously, as we're going through them. Sonoran Sky, this is one that's been on our books, pre-me, actually. This has been on the books since February of 2022, and was an agreement that was made with a previous, this is one of those that I just was talking about. This development has changed hands a lot of times. I look at Robbie, because Robbie was in on this one. The Sonoran Sky used to be called Markovet's subdivision, and it has changed hands, I can't tell you how many times. We are fortunate because as it has changed hands, the developers that have taken it over have agreed to continue. This is the original agreement made by the first developer, and everybody along the way has agreed to do that. And so the current owner of this project has agreed to that as well. So it would be to purchase a school bus for the district. The value, I'm working with Brenda and Carlos right now to get exact value. But right now we know the value's up to, it's gonna be probably between $120,000 and $140,000 value to the district. The total contribution payment is due on or before the final certificate of occupancy is issued by the city of Kuna. And that's a fairly standard, standard practice. Where developers in this process, if we come to them, say a developer wants to give the district $100,000, and we tell them we need that up front, and then they haven't sold any lots yet, I mean, it's coming out of their pockets, and so this is fairly standard to put it out there that before, as they sell the last certificate of occupancy for the last door in the subdivision, our payment or our, you know, agreement to purchase a school bus has to be done by then. And so most of these, and I'll tell you, most of these people that we've talked to, they want to have it done well before that last one. This gives, you know, this gives us some security of a timeline of knowing at least when we would have either money or product, but also gives them that opportunity as well to be able to raise funds during construction in order to help us with the mitigation process. Newberry Place, this is another one. This has been
Can we
since, I
talk
think.
about each individual?
As I
Or
say,
do you want me to stop?
I think
Make
since
a
we have
motion
an
on each
action
one,
item
too.
on every one, so
Yeah.
Yeah,
we can
okay.
ask questions.
Perfect, yeah.
So this is about a little under $2,200 per door, just if they have 55 houses, which, just to make note, is, you know, substantially less than what we would like to see. But I know this is an old agreement.
Yeah, and that's, I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah.
So these two right here were, these agreements and these processes were made before we had done our study and developed that per door fee that we have out there. And so it's kind of almost like a grandfather thing, you know, these agreements were made before we had that rate.
Yeah,
For our,
that makes sense.
yeah,
Which ones were the ones that were done before that agreement?
these first two, Sonoran Sky and Newberry Place.
And I guess, like, when you're saying that they may not want to continue that forward, like, if they are not to be the developer, which is understandable, but they're working on probably an approved plat and subdivision that was in place from the previous developers. So I think that if they don't want to do that, then it should come back to us at that point too, because I think if it's not going to be passed along, it's super common, and we don't want it approved without it coming back. So I think that might be a deal breaker in the MOU for me. I'd like to see it come back to us at least to address it.
Yeah, and I don't know if it will
Yeah.
or not, I was just trying to give an example
Yeah.
of.
I think that, when I read it, I thought, well, I wonder if they'll do that, but I think it might be nice if it comes back to us in that case as well.
Yeah, Okay.
I don't have any problem with that. Any other questions? Discussion? Do I have a motion to accept the MOU for Sonoran Sky?
I will make a motion that we accept the MOU for Sonoran Sky as it's written with any changes that it would be brought back to us.
Okay, do I have a second?
I second.
Any other discussion or questions? All right, Kirsty?
Aye.
Michael?
Aye.
JD?
Aye.
Hillary?
Aye.
And I'm an aye also. All right, so Newberry Place will be next.
Newberry Place, this one is just kind of a unique one in itself. This one is a $49,000 cash contribution. There's a $149,000 access path that we, as a district, asked the developer to do. We went to the table, said, hey, we need an access path for our students to be able to get out to 10 Mile Road.
Is this Crimson Point? So, are the kids going to Crimson Point for the 10 mile? I'm just curious which school that was. Seems like I read that.
Crimson Point.
Yeah, I thought it
Yes,
was
it was
Crimson.
this
So
one,
it's
Crimson.
along, so it's that?
Yeah.
Okay, I just wanted to picture.
And so we requested an access path for kids to get out to 10 Mile for busing purposes. So the agreement that was made, and again, I feel like on these first two, I told someone earlier today, I feel like the closer in baseball, like I just came in for the last couple outs. And so the developer came back and said, we'll build that access path, but it's gonna cost us 140, between loss of revenue with a lot that we have to give up to build that path, and to build the path itself, it's gonna cost us $149,000 in lost revenue plus the cost to build it. And so they put this in, so we've got $49,000 cost to the developer. We'll give the district $49,000 cash contribution. And again, this is tax, or the payment made out by the last certificate of occupancy, for a total value of $198,000 value on that mitigation offer from that developer.
How many houses are going in?
95.
So you divide that in.
That's less than $2,100 per door, also an old agreement,
Yeah.
but yeah.
Yeah, it was,
Like, I just think it's good to note.
yeah, no, it's,
I mean, it seems generous, but with the number of houses, it's below the standard just for future.
no, it is, and I,
Yeah.
I'm exactly with you on that. It's kind of a, like I said, it's a weird deal to step in, trying to finish up projects that have been hanging on the books for so long.
Well, we like to see them across the finish line when we're
Yeah.
so that's great.
How many of these have we talked about that haven't come to fruition, and then, we don't get anything at all from them? and
It's
so-
better than zero.
Absolutely, so.
That's the way I look at it. So, do I have a motion to accept the MOU for Newberry Place?
I motion that we accept the MOU for Newberry Place.
There is just a typo I just wanted to bring to your attention. I emailed you about it, but
Oh,
in
sorry.
number 1, it's just says 49, comma, 2 zeros. It needs another 0.
Oh, another 0?
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah.
I'm glad you emailed me about that.
Yeah, that makes a difference.
Yeah.
Yeah, quite a bit. All right, do I
We
have
want
any other,
49,000,
Yeah.
not
Not
$49.
$49.
Yeah.
do I have any other questions or comments, discussion? All right, Kirsty?
Aye.
Michael?
Aye.
JD?
Aye.
Hillary?
I with
And
the
I-
change.
Yeah.
Okay, and I'm aye and an aye also. All right,
All
Victory
right,
Springs.
Victory Springs, this is actually a new one that just came on the page. This is a Canyon County project that is in our boundaries. It is literally probably as far north on our boundaries as you can get. And so I'll be going a week from this Thursday to the Canyon County Planning and Zoning meeting to speak on this one. So this is 13 homes, and it's a cash payment, and this is one, again, even though I put the final certificate of occupancy, this developer has actually talked to me about this payment just being before they broke ground or anything. Once everything got approved through the Canyon County Planning and Zoning process, they would probably just write the district a check before they even got going. And so Again, 13 homes, he understood the size of it. Where he was at with this and where that number comes from, if you look at, obviously, years ago, when we looked at our students per household number, it used to be 1.2. That number's actually dropped down to 0.5. And what this developer said, and the reality of it was, and he was able to talk to people around there, the proximity of this to Nampa School District, to Columbia High School, to East Valley, the distance for families to take their kids to Nampa schools, and where Idaho is an open enrollment state now, it's in most cases at least half the distance to go to the Nampa schools, and in some cases, depending on which, like to come to Kuna High School and stuff, it's a quarter of the distance for them to go, say, to Columbia High School instead. But the developer was gracious and said, I understand that, but I also understand I want to be a good partner with the district. So what his offer was to pay that, our 3286 times that 0.5 per household. And so he was like, I don't see a lot of kids coming to Kuna School District, but he's like, I also can't guarantee that. And so that's why he offered for the 13 homes to pay us the $21,359 cash donation to help mitigate any students who do come to our schools. And so,
the way it's written, just it says 3,286 per student. Like, I just feel like that's kind of an ambiguous way to like, I think it should say $1,643 per door instead, because like this way it's, I mean, are they gonna track how many students are coming here, or, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think it should be rewritten to not say per student, but to say the dollar amount per door.
per door.
That's
Okay.
just my personal opinion, but.
That makes sense.
And I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
I get it that way because the way it was offered out, it does come down, even though it's 0.5 per door, it's that much per student, so I get what you're saying, but I can rewrite that.
Because there could be 0 students, and they could say that they're all retired couples that move in there with 0 students, and then we would have $0. And maybe that's the case. If that's the case, then that's the way it's written. But
Right.
if we want it per door, then I think that maybe that's better if we write it that way.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll make a motion for the Victory Springs MOU that we accept this with the change to update it to the, I did the math on my phone.
0.5 each.
It would be half of $3,286 per door.
Gotcha, I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
And I know maybe we can talk about this at the end, but what account is this money coming into? Like, when they give us a cash, like, we're gonna save this money for schools, right?
Yes.
For capital improvements and investments for schools, right?
Goes into
So-
the general fund, doesn't it?
No, I feel like
We-
it should not.
Does it? Okay, capital. Oh, that's right.
John.
So we can specifically identify both a fund number that we'll put it in, and even we could specify a specific LGIP account. I would recommend that you just put it in and you can gain investment income on it, make money out of money.
I'd
And-
like to
I like
add
that
that to
idea.
all the other motions for these.
Well,
Yeah.
and it's a great question, because that question that you just asked is the same question that developers ask. And, because what they are wanting to assure that this, like, hey, I want to make this contribution, but I want it to make sure that it goes toward those things that you need that help mitigate growth,
Right.
not the.
Teacher salaries.
Yes, or,
Well,
and,
I mean, I just feel more honest in asking for it if it's actually going to
Yep.
offset the cost of what their impact.
absolutely, and you're making the exact same expression that a lot of the developers make as well. They want that, that confirmation that this isn't just gonna drop into the general fund and disperse, somewhere else, and so.
Well, and
yeah.
when we, in the future, when we go for a bond, we can be like, this is how much money we collected in voluntary mitigation fees that offsets what we're having to ask.
Yeah.
And I think that data will be really helpful in the future,
Yeah.
so.
And I think that's part of what we have, when we talk to developers, that's one of the things we talk about. when they ask the why, we talk to them, you know, this, when we do go for bonds, like what I'm presenting to you tonight is about $500,000 worth of, you know, mitigation. That's $500,000 that we don't have to put on a bond, you know, it's not a menial amount that's out there, so.
Well, and our taxpayers and residents are asking us over and over again to have development, help pay for development.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing.
Yeah. And I think it's important that we're transparent that
Yeah.
way with the people.
So mitigation is for capacity, so any item that helps with capacity issues within our district is what we discussed.
School bonds.
Yeah, so I think that specific account would be amazing.
Yeah.
And I like the idea of money making money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, all right, do I have a motion?
There's a motion, a second.
A second? Okay, and we made the adjustments to that, okay? Any other discussion or questions? All right, Kirsty,
Aye.
Michael, JD,
Aye.
and I'm an I also.
And
And Hillary,
Aye.
sorry. And Hillary, the one who made it, sorry, Hillary. I'm moving right along. So, okay,
All right, Selkirk Ranch, again, a newer project that's on the books. When these guys were pretty awesome to talk to, they really wanted to help us and asked us where some of our biggest needs were. And the high school parking seems to be one of those that we've had a couple developers in the past that, hey, we're interested in this. Is the one, I feel like this is the first one we've had that truly has taken that interest serious. Because they're the ones that came back, when we talked about this, they're actually the ones that came back with this drawing and said, this is how we can help, you know, this is what it would look like, we haven't had developers in the past that have shown interest, that have actually taken it this far and said, this is what we can do for you. So, Selkirk Ranch, what it would be to expand the KHS parking lot by 128 spots, which being the principal of Fremont Middle School would be a blessing. The estimated cost for them to do that is about $300,000 value. This is what kind of excites me about it. This development is one that's moving forward quickly. They're projected to start breaking ground on this summer, later this spring and summer. They would like to do this project in conjunction with when they are putting their roads, their sidewalks, you know, all the earth moving work in there. They would like to be able to just come over, bring their equipment over and build this parking lot at the same time. If things go on the trajectory that they have predicted out there right now, this parking lot would actually be ready this fall when students come back to school. And so it would be a pretty exciting thing, you know, and I know that's their goal. There's nothing set in stone that says that. But if they can stay on that timeline that they have set out there, it would be a pretty cool addition to have to our KHS campus, you know, going into this next fall for, you know, our high school administrators to have some more spaces to, you know, put kids in their cars. And so, anyway, I'll stand for questions on this one.
okay, do I have any questions?
I have some questions.
Yeah.
Believe it or not. It looks like we have some more space there that we could expand even further. Don't we need more than 128 spots?
We do, and so this developer came back to us, for the project, this is what they could do without costing us any money. If we went further into that, then we would have to incur that extra cost to put in more parking lot.
But would they do the work still?
I
Because
would-
that's
I
not
would-
really-
Question for them, I
It's not a
guess.
really effective thing to have them working and then us try to expand on top of that,
No,
you know,
right.
so.
And they absolutely would. And so, but if you went up there, you could put, essentially, without getting too much into this, you could get just one more row of 32 that would go up above there. After you go past that, you have to start redesigning this entrance coming in, you know, unless you just start shifting parking spaces less and less. But to get another full row up there, you'd lose one spot on the end, but then you could get one more row over here.
Does anybody know why the entrance road is so curved there? Is
Um,
it because of the access needs to be a certain distance from other access? What's that?
Slow kids
Slow them down.
Oh, okay. Cause it
Well,
feels like
essentially,
if
really,
we
it's
just
one
made it
tower
a
for
straight
the
shot, we
two
could
is like a-
utilize more space there.
Yeah, and that would, and I understand what you're saying, if this were just a straight shot up, what that would require, and as of right now, because one of the things I checked into with this was, I got a hold of ACHD to make sure that they weren't gonna have, you know, some sort of restrictions based on traffic flow that would be coming in. ACHD said they had zero problems with us adding to the parking space because these kids are already in attendance at this school. The difference would be if we added to KHS and added to the capacity of the student body, then we would have to do a traffic study, and there's a lot of that extra cost that would come. So a good thing, a benefit to us on this is that we don't have to do any extra traffic studies or anything. You go back to what you're talking about, if you extend this straight out, we would probably have to have ACHD do a traffic study, and looking at their guidelines of how close
Yeah.
that entrance would be to the others, we probably wouldn't.
Like the church entrance is
Yeah.
right
This
there.
This is too close.
It's
Yeah.
too close, yeah, I thought it would be, so, okay.
Yeah.
Well,
So-
I mean, I feel like a free expansion to the parking lot is pretty, tempting, but at the same time, like, if it doesn't do the job that we want, it's maybe just a mess. Does that make sense?
If it's not the quality, is what you're
Well, I'm not
saying?
worried about their workmanship, but I
Okay.
just feel like,
Having more space.
I feel like if we were to do this project and we wanted it the way we wanted it, I feel like we would be doing something different.
Well, we could just ask, I
Yeah.
mean, we gotta find the money to pay for the next row,
Yeah.
so.
I wonder like how far over we can move that access and then how many spaces we could fit in there. And I feel like that would be something that would be good information going into this MOU. And then I also know we can't do this anytime but the summer, am I right?
Mhm.
So, and we're shutting down this summer, so it'd be super great if it could be this summer.
Since
So,
we're doing HVAC,
yeah,
I make a motion that we approve this MOU the way they have it, but ask them if we could find the funding to put that next row in there. I don't know if it's gonna be, I don't think it's gonna be cost beneficial to move those entrances and do that study with ACHD, but.
Yeah, if
I mean,
if you get to the point where you have to do a traffic impact study, you could be upwards of $100,000 just for the study. And I'm not saying it would be, but
Plus, we
making-
wouldn't get there by this summer, probably.
Yeah, no, because if we went that route, that would change how we would be able to do this through the city. Then we would be somebody having to go to the city and getting design reviews approved and planning and stuff. Right now, because, and our blessing with the way it's presented right now, because ACHD doesn't have any problems with the way this is set up, the city has said this is a pretty simple one for us to be able to, to go through them and get approved with them. We don't have to go through any formal process. It can all be handled through the staff at the city. We don't have to go in front of planning and zoning, city council. And so
So I have a question for Robbie, I guess. We have 128 that we're adding. Is that gonna alleviate very much at all? Do we need to alleviate more? And I guess that's my question.
And that's weird to say, is that enough? It might be, because right now we have like 50 kids on the waiting list, I know. So if you put those 50 in there, then there's still.
Still
80
spaces.
spots left, and if you take away I don't know how many spots people park here in a Porter.
I mean, they're lining the roads.
Yeah, but like if you counted those, how many would that be?
Yeah.
So we could go out, we could count those. And I'm serious, I was thinking the only way to get accurate is to count them in the neighborhood in there, just go have security go count those cars. And then we can get a number back, and maybe 123 is the right number.
Or 128. I'm just curious because, we're putting a lot of thought in this, which I think is great. But is this gonna be enough? If it is, and I say, yeah, if it's not, then maybe we need to take a look at more.
And one of the things that I look at with this, and I know where Robbie's coming from on this. Speaking as the principal of Fremont Middle School and the safety issue created by you know, I was a high school driver one time as well, you know, going through the parking lot, going up and down Porter when our students are getting out at the same time. You know, if you can take, with 188 or 28 slots, take a good chunk of those kids and be able to put them in that parking lot, it helps create a safer zone here for Hubbard and, I shouldn't say Hubbard because they're out later than we are, but primarily for the Fremont students that are in and out at the same time as the high school, and so.
Yeah, let's go ahead.
Well, I just don't think we can, I mean, this is a gift, and I don't, if we do anything to this, I think it could push it off, and we could lose this. So I make a motion that we accept this MOU with the Selkirk Ranch, but maybe just ask and see if there's a way that we could come up with the funds to add that next row.
I'll get specifics from them on what the additional cost would be for that.
So does that need to be in the MOU then?
I don't.
Or is that just something
I
we want
would,
to know?
If
I
we're
don't-
using their construction equipment and having them do it and paying for it, then it might have to be in the MOU if that's the aspect, the way we're gonna work with it.
Yeah, it would probably have to be like a separate MOU
Yeah.
in addition, because it,
Is that one that you could bring back to us?
yes, yeah, because we've got time to do that, but because that would be one that we, like I said, we would be responsible for those additional costs. And so it wouldn't necessarily be an MOU cost-wise for them, but maybe for them providing the service, like you're saying, while they're there cutting, you know, grass and stuff like that, they can use that equipment and set it up. And so it would just have to be worded differently. There wouldn't be a monetary amount, it would be a service provided to help do those extra 32 spots.
I mean, if the estimated cost for 4 rows of parking is $300,000, it's probably like another $75,000 to get another row maybe. And that just seems reasonable to get 32 more parking spots if we can add on
Yeah.
and find that. I mean,
Jason?
it's seriously a problem.
Did you want to say something?
I would just say,
I
as
hear
you-
discussion over there.
As you look to spend the district's funding, you just need to be mindful of procurement rules and regulations. And so there may be some stipulations around just turning around and using them, because now you're spending state dollars and you have public pay requirements. So I would just maybe like look at those two transactions separately.
It would be another $128,000 to add that extra row.
Okay, okay. So, thank you for your input, appreciate that. Did you want to keep the motion then, JD? Do you want to?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, do you want to restate it so we can all? No, because there's been discussion. I
You
already
just
know.
want to accept it as it is.
Accept as is?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then we're gonna have that discussion.
I'll still
hopefully.
check in
Yeah,
to the
and then
additional
it can come
part and
back.
bring that back
And
to
then we
you
got
guys.
all this red tape.
See what we can do.
Yeah, but I feel like if we could look into the 32 extra spaces, and the legality of it, it'd be amazing.
Yeah.
All right, do I have a second on that motion?
Second.
Okay, any other discussion or questions? Okay, Kirsty?
Aye.
Michael?
Right.
JD?
Aye.
Hillary?
Aye.
And I'm an aye also. All right, I think
That's
that's it. Mr.
Thank you.
Jensen, thank you.
You've been busy, we appreciate it.
Yeah,
Call you Santa Claus.
yeah.
Well, I was just trying to make sure I got through not calling you commissioners, I just got.
He really has,
Bill?
Tim's really
Yeah.
been doing a great job with developers.
Thank you, Tim.
We had 2 developers yesterday, or the other came, you know, they've been coming to us.
I just would like the community to know what we're doing here to save them money and to be good stewards for them.
And maybe going forward, if we have any more development coming through too, that maybe we could ask them to help fund that cost for that next level of parking lot.
Oh, yeah, and that would
save
get
us.
around the red tape.
Yeah.
I like that idea.
Yeah. All right. We're moving right along. Consent agenda. Do I have an approval for the consent agenda?
I had one item, just a question. On the trip request with all the wrestling trips, are there female students going? Because I didn't,
There was one chaperone that was.
that's female on all the trips. Okay, that's
One
what
of
I
the
was.
coaches is
Yeah.
Yeah.
We require a few.
Yeah, okay, that's what I wondered, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that's it.
I make a motion that we approve the consent agenda.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any other discussion or questions? All right, Kirsty?
Aye.
Michael?
Aye.
JD?
Aye.
Hillary?
Aye.
And I'm an aye also. And now we're to the good of the order. Christmas break, December 22nd through January 3rd, yahoo. And the next board meeting will be January 13th, 2026. Do I have a motion?
I motion that we.
I was going to motion.
Okay.
Let me do it. I make a motion that we adjourn this board meeting.
Should we gavel it?
Second first. Do you have a second?
Second.
All right, Kirsty?
Aye.
Michael?
Aye.
JD? Hillary?
Aye.
And I'm an aye also, so way to go.
Thank
It's the
you.
end. Thank you, guys.
Thanks.